Jai Mahamaya Ki Jai. In our last discourse, we read about the great ego, the great demon, Mahisa, being killed by the Divine Mother. And now the Devas are going to come and sing her praises. We'll go on to chapter 19. Vedavyasa said, O king, then Indra and all the Devas became very glad to see the great Mahisura slain. They all began to praise and chant hymns to the World Mother. The Deva said, It is by thy power that Brahma becomes able to create this world, Vishnu to preserve it, and Lord Shiva to destroy during the Pralaya time, the time of great destruction of this universe. But when they are bereft of thy power, they are quite unable to do such. Therefore, O Devi, thou art undoubtedly the prime cause in the preservation and destruction of this whole universe, O Devi. Thou art in this world fame, idea, and ideal, memory. Thou art the goal, mercy, compassion, faith, constancy, earth. Thou art Kamala, the mantra, japa, respiration and perspiration, nourishment, jaya, vijaya, the destroyer of obstacles, Anima Durga. Thou art contentment, correct notion, measure, intellect, Rama, wealth, knowledge, forgiveness, beauty, intelligence. Thou art the Shakti, power of Rudra. Thou art Girija, and the energy of God, Uma, and all the other forces in this universe. This is known to everyone in the three worlds. Without any or all of these forces, no one is able to perform any action. Thou art the supreme cause of all this world. Therefore, everything rests on thee. If thou were not the upholder power, how could Kuma, in the tortoise incarnation, and Ananta have upheld this world, O Mother? Wert thou not this earth, could all these world load of things have rested on the sky? O Mother, those human beings that worship Brahma, Vishnu, Rudra, moon, fire, Yama, the god of death, Vayu, Ganesha, and the other devas, they are certainly deluded by the Maya. Could all those devas do any action or any favor without thy energy? O Mother, those that offer in sacrifice a profuse quantity of ghee as oblations to several devas, they are certainly conceived to be very narrow views. Wert thou not the Swaha, could it have been possible for those devas to get offered the oblations at that very instant? Certainly, therefore, they are fools and ignorant persons. There is no doubt in this. O Mother, thou givest the several objects of nourishment and enjoyments to all the beings in this universe by thy parts, the several transformations of these material things. It is thou that nourishest the devas, thy devotees, as well as the others, the demons, according to their karmas. O Mother, as the owner of any garden plants with pleasure the beautiful trees in that garden for this delight, and finding some of them not to bear any fruit or leaves or of a bitter taste, does not cut them off by their roots, so, O Devi, thou hast brought into existence these demons out of their inferior karmas, and thou art supporting them. Knowing that the demons like to enjoy these celestial nymphs, thou hast, out of compassion, killed them by thy arrows in the battlefield to afford them facilities and their rebirth in heavens, and thus to enjoy the Deva womans, which they could not have got in any other possible way. Therefore, thy dealings with them are to fulfill their intentions and not to kill them. O Mother, it is a great wonder that to kill these demons thou hadst to assume the divine body. Thou couldst have done it by thy mere will. it seems that this act of thine is but a mere pastime. There is no other cause for this. O Devi, those human beings that do not worship thee in this dreadful Kali Yuga age, they are certainly deceived by the cunning pyramid makers who have deluded them to worship Shiva and Vishnu, who are the creations, who are thy creations. Oh, what an amount of evil has befallen to those poor souls. O Devi, those men know that the Devas tormented by the demons are thy devotees, and yet they worship them. Certainly such fellows, holding the lighted torches in their hands, plunge deep into the darkest waterless wells. O Mother, thou art the Vidya, the blissful intelligence, and thou grantest pleasure and liberations. Thou art the avidya, the great delusion, and thus thou causes bondage and pain in this world. O Mother, thou only destroyest the afflictions of the human beings. Those that want liberation worship thee, and those that are ignorant and attached to worldly enjoyments do not worship thee. What more can be said than this? That Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, and the other devas incessantly worship thy adorable feet. But those men that are of dull intellect and are mistaken, they do not meditate on thy lotus feet, and therefore they come again in this ocean of the world. O Chandika, it is through the grace of the dust of thy lotus feet that Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva are creating and destroying this universe. Therefore, Goddess, those men that do not serve thee are certainly very unfortunate. O Mother of the universe, thou art the goddess of speech of this gods and of the demons. Thus, if thou didst not dwell in their mouth, they would not have been able to utter a single word. Therefore, O Goddess, how can men speak when they are thus deprived of thee? O Mother, it is due to the curse of Bhrigu Muni that Vishnu takes several incarnations as fish, tortoise, boar, man-lion, and deceitful dwarf incarnations. All these show cleverly the dependence of Vishnu, how they can then avoid the fear of death when they serve these dependent incarnations. O Devi, those that worship Ganesha, born of the above qualified Lord Shiva, was awfully mistaken. They are especially quite ignorant of thee, the goddess of the universe, that can be easily worshipped and that can give the fulfilled aims of human existence. O Devi, it is out of thy kindness that thou hast slain with thy arrows the enemies, and thus hast translated them into heavens. Otherwise, they would have certainly gone to hell owing to their karmic effects. Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, and the other devas cannot realize thy greatness. How can then an ordinary man know thee when they are deluded by immeasurably strong sattva, rajas, and tamasic qualities? O Mother, those who do not worship thy lotus feet as very hard to be brought within this mind, and therefore worship this visible sun and fire, they cannot grasp the essence of the Vedas, demonstrated by hundreds of passages of Shrutis. They are deluded and simply suffer pains. O Mother, I think that the influence of thy sattvic, rajas, and tamasic qualities are widely known in this world. Those qualities, as taught in various deluding schools of Tantra by various persons, stimulate persons to worship Vishnu or Shiva, sun god, Ganesh, and thus detract them from the worshipping of thee. O Mother, those that detract thus the Brahmins from worshipping our lotus feet and advise them to worship Vishnu and Shiva and Brahma, thou dost not get angry with them, rather thou dost show them kindness and make them widely celebrated as possessing the occult powers of enchanting, bringing them under their control or attracting toward them various other persons. In the Satya Yuga, Satya Guna was more powerful, and therefore the untrue sastras could not rear their heads. But in the Kali Yuga, owing to the Sattvic guna being not so powerful, the lower qualities have not preponderance. So these so-called clever pundits, instead of worshipping thee, worship Vishnu and Shiva and other devas, the products of their fancy, and hide thee. O Mother, thou art the Brahma Vidya, the knowledge of the Supreme Consciousness. Thou givest liberation to thy devotees when they succeed in the yogas. Therefore the pure Sattvic Munis meditate on thee and thee alone. Thus, those that get themselves deluded in thee, they are very blessed. What more to speak of them in their praise? They will no longer have to suffer any pains in their mother's wombs. O Mother, thou art inherent as Chit Sakti, the power of consciousness in the Supreme Spirit, and therefore he is become manifest specially as this great cosmos, and become known as the creator, preserver, destroyer of this world, fashioned out of the 5 elements. O Devi, what male can by his own power work out this Jagat Prapancha, enjoy it and move in it without the aid of thy power? O Mother, wert thou not Swaha, the instrumental cause of the sacrifice, how could the Devas have got their shares of the ghee offered in the yagas by the Munis? Therefore, O Devi, thou art no doubt preserving this universe. O Bhagavati, it is thou that hast created this world in the beginning. It is thou that art preserving the gods, Shiva and Vishnu and others. It is thou that art destroying the universe. Therefore, O Brahmanans, the Devas cannot know thy deeds. How can then the men who are of dull intellect know thee? O Mother, thou hast now saved the Devas by killing this terrible Mahisur. O Mother, all the Vedas have not been able to know exactly all thy movements. How can we of dull intellect praise thee? O Mother, thou hadst served our cause by killing our enemy, the wicked demon, the inconceivable source of pain to all the worlds. By this act of thine, thy fame has spread far and wide in the universe. Therefore, O thou of renowned powers, thou art the mother of this world. Save us and maintain us by thy mercy. The Devas, having praised the Devi thus, the Devi addressed them gently. O Devas, say if you have any other difficult thing for me to do. Remember me when any difficult crisis occurs to you. I will destroy that evil. The Deva said, O Devi, all our purposes have been served when thou killed lately our enemy Mahisur. Now dost thou do for us, so that we can always recollect thy lotus feet, and our bhakti be firm and steadfast toward thee. It is only the mother that bears the 1,000 offenses of the son. We therefore cannot say why men, knowing this, do not worship the mother of the universe. There are 2 birds always dwelling in this body, Jivatma, the human soul, and the Paramatma, the supreme soul. They are so very intimate friends toward each other that they never separate. But there is no other 3rd friend that can bear the faults of these 2. Therefore, the embodied soul that forsakes thee, his friend, can never attain any welfare. What more to say on this? That vicious soul is very unlucky amidst the Devas and men, no doubt. He who, on attaining this excellent human body, attained with much difficulty, does not remember thee frequently by words and deeds, is certainly the vilest of men. O Devi, whether in times of distress or happiness, thou art our savior. Therefore dost thou protect us with thy best weapons. O Devi, there is no other means of our security than the grace of the dust of thy feet. The Devas, having prayed to the Devi thus, the Devi banished them, and there. The Devas, seeing the disappearance of the Devi, were sufficiently struck with surprise. Here ends the 19th chapter of the 5th book on the prayers and hymns of the Devis to the Devi by the Devas in the Srimad Devi Bhagavatam, the Mahapurana of 18,000 verses by Maharishi Veda Vyasa. Jai Mahamaya ki jai, Vishveshwari Mata ki jai, Bole Baba ki jai.